Now, a story you'll see only on 12 News, remembering a legend.
80 years ago today, Rhode Island's John Pastore was inaugurated as the nation's first Italian American governor. Before long, he would also be the country's first Italian American U.S. senator. Tonight, 12 News politics editor Ted Nesi takes us inside the effort to preserve Pastore's legacy and shares rare film from his remarkable career.
If Rhode Island had a Mount Rushmore of 20th century leaders, John Pastore would be up there with the likes of Claiborne Pell, T.F. Green, and John Chafee. Experts hope this newly digitized footage will help a new generation understand why.
We started with the sort of early days of his governorship.
Providence College's Fogarty Reading Room is a treasure trove of Rhode Island political history.
This is a draft of one of his speeches.
And no collection is larger than the archives of John O. Pastore, who served for 3 decades as a Rhode Island governor and then U.S. senator. Some of the material hasn't been seen in generations.
This is Senator John Kennedy of Massachusetts.
Like this re-election message that JFK filmed for Pastore 2 years before becoming president.
I think with John Pastore speaking for Rhode Island in the Senate, that Rhode Island, New England, and the United States are stronger.
That's just one of many clips which are now available in digital form thanks to a major preservation project undertaken by PC. How much more accessible has all this material become because you digitized it?
It's 100% more accessible because we don't have a way to play it.
The clips show Pastore in action during his time in the Senate.
Would you draft one that you thought would be constitutional?
I would prefer not to.
And even being interviewed in 1969 by longtime WPRI 12 anchor Walter Cryan.
And your comments on that? Well, I've been in public life now for quite a number of years, governor and now in the United States Senate.
Sometimes it sounds as if Pastore is talking about politics today.
As a matter of fact, the whole state of health care is quite confused.
Pastore left office in 1976 and died in the year 2000, so few of today's Rhode Island leaders knew him personally.
And here back in 1949, my dad is sitting right there.
But Westerly State Representative Sam Azzanaro is an exception. Pastore came to dinner at Azzanaro's childhood home when Azzanaro's father was serving in the legislature.
When you brought somebody with that much power and authority to your house, we kept quiet. My dad did the talking, my mother did the cooking, and we just listened. But to see my father's expression of how happy, proud he was to know this man.
Azzanaro describes Pastore as his father's idol.
My dad would expound upon Pastore as being, this is the guy that is, you know, an Italian that made it, that's going to help people.
Coming up, new at 6.
For in an all-out atomic war, there will be no winner.
We'll show you the 1964 speech that was the biggest moment of Pastore's career and play you his phone call with the president to prepare. Ted Nesi, 12 News.
Now, we continue a story you'll see only on 12 News, remembering a legend.
John Pastore rose from humble beginnings on Federal Hill to become the nation's first Italian American governor and U.S. senator. New at 6, 12 News politics editor Ted Nesi shares the speech that put Pastore in the history books and the phone call with President Lyndon Johnson that led up to it. Ted?
In 1964, LBJ needed a powerful speaker to deliver the most important speech at the Democratic Convention, so he turned to the diminutive Rhode Island senator with an outsized gift for commanding the room. When Secretary of State Greg Amore looks up from his desk at the Rhode Island State House, he sees the portrait of the late governor and U.S. Senator John O. Pastore.
My dad talked about John O. Pastore all the time.
And what did he say?
Oh, you know, he talked about Joe DiMaggio and John O. Pastore as models of Italian Americans who were the sons of immigrants who became American heroes.
Pastore had many memorable moments in his long career, like his famous exchange with Mr. Rogers at a congressional hearing.
I'm the host, yes. And I do all the puppets, and I write all the music, and I write all the script.
Well, I'm supposed to be a pretty tough guy, and this is the first time I've had goosebumps for the last 2 days.
But no moment was bigger than his fiery keynote speech at the 1964 Democratic National Convention. Late in his life, Pastore told WPRI 12 anchor Walter Cryan how the speech came about.
I was sitting at my desk in the Senate chamber, and one of the boys came out of the cloakroom and said, "The president's on the telephone."
Johnny? Yes. How are you? Fine, Mr. President. How are you?
This is a secret White House recording of that conversation preserved at the LBJ Library in Texas.
We need a good keynote, and we thought maybe you would fit fit in pretty well at it.
Well, I'd be honored to.
So you get to work on it.
All right.
Let's keep it reasonable, around 15, 20 minutes, whatever.
15 minutes.
I want it to be the best one that's ever made.
Pastore and LBJ had known each other for years, and the Rhode Islanders' speech was a barn burner.
And I become concerned when people talk about who should make the decision. For in an all-out atomic war, there will be no winner. Please understand that every home, every kitchen, every cradle could well become a cemetery.
State Representative Sam Azzanaro remembers watching that night with his father, a former state legislator himself who deeply admired Pastore as a fellow Italian American.
My father was just beaming when that happened. I can still picture my father's just as his expression on his face watching him. Prior to watching him, how proud he was that he was picked.
He had the ability to capture the public with the way he spoke, because he never spoke above or down to anyone, and I think that's unique as well.
We shall move with all devotion to America's destiny, with all dedication that the true character of America shall endure for our children and for our children's children.
John Pastore died in the year 2000 at age 93. His archives are preserved at Providence College. Ted Nisi, 12 News.